So in our last class, we have installed Rasa 3 and we have started with our basic Rasa chatbot project. So today we'll initiate this conversation from there only. So first we'll go to that folder where we have installed, done the initial setup of Rasa. So I'm just sharing my screen. So that was the location. Maybe you may have a different location to your system, but in my system I have created the virtual environment to documents, and then I have created a folder rasa underscore class in which I have done an initial project setup of rasa basic project. So this is a very basic project. So first let's see how to run it. So to run it, I will just open the anaconda command prompt. So here you go, just open it, and you need to cd change directory to that location. So my location is documents and then rasa underscore class. So I'm into this location. So here what I did in while installing Rasa, I have created one virtual environment and then I did all the installation. So I again here have to activate that virtual environment what I have created. So hope you remember that I have written all the commands here to activate the Rasa virtual environment. This is the command, because my Rasa virtual environment name is Rasa underscore boot. You may have a different name. Whatever the name you have given, you just use that name to activate it. So I just copy that command and go to this folder and then paste it. Maybe I can write as well, like Conda activate Rasa underscore boot. That was my environment. So we were into the base location, but now we are into the Rasa underscore boat environment. So let me maximize my screen. So here to this screen, we just need to first, maybe I have already trained that model, but still we can run that train command. But in case we have not done any changes, we can just run the chatbot to the command prompt. So to do this, to run the chatbot, we need to do Rasa shell. This is the command to activate this chatbot in command prompt. So let it run. So it will give us the, the bot the input where you can give certain input and bot can answer you. And from where that is coming, we are going to discuss each and every file here, but let it open first. So yeah, it may take some time to, let me shift this screen here. So it's initially it takes some time to get launched. Rasa shell is the command. I have already written that command here. Rasa shell, Rasa train, Rasa init. Rasa init for the initial setup of Rasa. Rasa train to whenever you do certain changes, but that's a initial chatbot which by default created to our system. We have not made any changes, so we don't require to train it because we already trained in our last class. And then Rasa shell. Rasa shell is the command to run that into a command prompt. So we just go there and you see that it's loading model. That is the model which has been created. So you can check that into that folder models, and this is the file. So they are just loading this, and once that model is loaded, we can able to communicate it. So just see that how it looks like. This is how, like, let's say you have done initial setup and you need to run it to a system. So this is how you're gonna open it. First, open the command prompt, go to that folder location, cd to that folder location, then activate your virtual environment, and then Rasa shell to run that into command prompt. It takes few minutes to get it done. Might be you must be excited that from where that input and that response is coming and how that chatbot is working within, a few minutes of time. We have created a first Rasa chatbot. So how it works. So we gonna discuss that part. So let it open. It gives certain warnings and all. You just check it on the screen. So yes, you see that boat is loaded in this green color, and it says that type a message and press enter. So I just entered by default, so it says that great, carry on, but I'll say something like hello. So hello is my input, and it says, hey, how are you? If I say I am good, what does it says? Great, carry on. If I say I'm sad, here is something to cheer you up. You see that it is still understand that although I have combined M and said all together as one word, but still it understand, and it says that here is something to cheer you up. So it gives one image, and that's a JPG made image, and you just look at this to cheer it. It's trying to cheer you up, and ask you that did that help. If I say yes, maybe you can copy and open that image, so it says great, carry on. So these are some certain basic responses it has given. Now the point is from where this response is coming and how it works, basically how it understand that if I write hello, if I write hi, how it understand that from where it is coming. So just to understand that part, that is we have just created an initial setup, but now we need to understand the structure of the file. So just go to that folder, that was our folder. I have opened that folder into VS Code. You can also open your project into the VS Code or any ID that you want to prefer. So we look at the file one by one. So the first you need to go to that data folder. So I will explain you step by step. In that data folder, the important file that you need to take care is the nlu.ym. What NLU does, basically, you see that we have given certain intent and then examples, and these are the examples. So you remember that I have written hello. So hello, it understand that it is a part of greet intent. So, for greeting, these are the different in training samples that we have given. So it's as per your requirement. Like in case you want to create a new intent, what are the possible way of asking that particular question? Like here, I just want to greet. So for greeting, there are the possible way of asking. So people can ask hello there, good evening, hey there, hi, good morning, hey dude. They are the different way of greeting. So we put that under greet. So to define it, intent is the way of writing the syntax, and the name of the intent that you give. It is not kind of a fixed name. It's up to you. Whatever the name that you want to give, you can put it here. And then examples. Under examples, you give all the examples this way. This is the structure. You can change other examples as well. That let's say I put again some more samples, so it will work. But I'll do that part later. Let it explain first. And then for goodbye, these are the possible way of saying goodbye. These are the samples that we have given to Rasa. By default structure that Rasa create, and it comes under goodbye. And the same is affirm. Let's say yes, indeed, of course, that sounds good, correct. Affirm is the another intent in which they have given these training samples. And deny is the another in which we see that no, never, I don't think so, don't like that, no way, no really. So these are these samples for deny intent. And then mood great. So mood great, like whenever your mood is great, so you're talking, you are writing something like this, like I'm perfect, I'm good, I'm great, I'm wonderful, I'm feeling very good, something like that. And if your mood is not good, so you maybe write something like this: my day was horrible, I'm sad, I don't feel very well, very well, super sad, extremely sad. So these are the training samples of intent, mood, and happy. So what is intent here? Intent is the context of the questions that people supposed to ask. You understand it in a very layman term, like the different way of asking this, of saying goodbye, and the different way of saying hello or greet. So this comes under that. You give certain name and the training samples that you give. You increase or decrease the training sample as per your requirement. And the bot challenge is the another intent, that is it has given that are you a bot, are you a human. So maybe if you write here that are you a bot, So maybe for that they have given a different response. I am a boat powered by Rasa. So it gives that answer. And from where that answer is coming, so I'll let you know here. So that particular my are you a boat was the intent which comes under boat challenge. And for that, now I hope you are clear with the nlu.yml, in which we give that how people supposed to question and the different way of asking that question which comes under one particular intent. So that is there in nlu.yml. We define our intent and their training samples, examples basically. Then the other file that you need to understand is domain after NLU. NLU was there in data, and then the next file is domain. We will go step by step. So in this domain file, the first thing what you do, the number of intents that you have defined under NLU file, you define all the intents under this intents column and then the name of the intents that you have written there. If you don't put the name of the intent here, it will not be considered in the conversation flow or designing the conversation flow. So we can discuss that part later. And then the responses is the different way of responding in this Rasa, but we just look at through utters. So for each intent, the naming convention that we use here, the name of the intent, you go to this NLU file again. I just opened it to the side. You see that intent was greet, and under that intent, what should be the response? So the name of the response we define by adding utter in front of that intent. So we give it a name as utter underscore greet. Maybe you may have a different name, but it is not a good practice. Maybe while you're working on chatbot, you need to create a number of intents and the responses for one intent. Maybe different responses are there. So the good practice is to uh, add utter underscore before the name of the intent, so that you understand for that greet the response is utter underscore greet. You may give other name as well, but I recommend you to use this way. So then utter greet, for responding to that greet message, the response will be hey how are you. So we see that whenever we write hey hello there, it will revert you as hey how are you. So we go there. So if I write hey hi basically, hey how are you. If I write hey, again it will give hey how are you. If I write hello, I mean all the examples that we have used under greet, whatever the example user picked to write, the response will be utter underscore greet. So designing that response, for what should be the response after this, we design that into stories. So we will come to that part as well, but here just you understand it. So here we see that for this greet, that is the utter greet that we have designed. But when and how it comes, where we have given instructions that if intent is greet, then response should be utter greet. So that comes into stories. So we again go to data folder and the story file. So I'll open the story to this side and the domain as well, so that we can understand it. So that is our NLU file. So I said that if intent is greet, story we have opened twice. Let me close it. Here it is, the NLU. So if the intent is greet, for that we define the name of the intent into domain file, and then I have defined the response as well for that intent. But the conversation flow, if intent greet comes, what should be the response? We define that into stories. So in a story, we can design a different way of conversation. So and the name that you give, it's up to you that how you want to give the name. So we have given the name as a story, happy path, and the steps that needs to be performed, that is supposed to be there. Like if intent greet is called, if users say hi, hello, anything which comes under greet, then the response should be utter greet. That's what we mentioned into the stories. And if next intent is mood greet, if after utter greet people go to this mood greet, let me go to this. If users say after hi, hello, perfect, great, amazing, feeling like king, something like that. So what should be the response? Utter happy. Utter happy we define here. So that is great, carry on. So this is how this response is coming. If I say that amazing here, after this, it says that how are you? If I say amazing, what it will say? It will return great, carry on. From where it comes? From this story. But if while greeting and providing the greet response, if mood is not great, if mood is unhappy, then we may have a different story, because that is a different flow of the conversation. So then we call a different action, which is utter greet. Action is, intent is the whatever we there in NLU file. Action is how you are going to respond it, what action you are going to take after this intent. So actions, we have we define certain custom action into action file as well, so that's a different thing that we understand later. But now we are giving the direct response using domain file, and we define those responses there in domain. So you see that if I greet, and if I say utter greet, and if I say mood unhappy, so let's say some samples of mood unhappy, like my day was horrible or I am sad. So I initiate it again, like if I say hello, and it will ask me like how are you. If I say I am very sad, I am very sad, let's remove a from here. So it will say here is something to cheer you up, and you just go to that story again. After mood and happy, what was the action? Utter cheer up. So we go to this responses, and what is there in utter cheer up? Here is something to cheer up, and then there is an image. So that's what coming to this response here. I hope this is clear that how this flow is coming. So next is like utter did that help. After that action, if utter did that help action comes, you see that it says that did that help. If I say yes, means I am into affirm. Yes is what? Here, if I say yes, yes is there in affirm. Yes, why, indeed, of course, that sounds good. So if affirm, then I say utter happy. And what is utter happy? Great, carry on. So if I say yes, so what would be the response? It says great, carry on. So this is how we design the conversation. Now let's suppose you want to design something from your end. So first you will say that what should be the way of asking questions, and then what would be the response, and if that intent is called, what should be the response. So then you have to use these three files. So let's go to this file structure again. So intent, we define that into NLU, and the name of the intent goes to domain under this, and under responses we provide their responses. So you see that utter is added after each and every, before each and every intent name. So that's a way of designing the responses and defining our the way of writing the code. So you consider it in that way. And then the stories we have designed, and the name of the stories we have given, we are not bound to give it that name, but that should be relative to the conversation flow. So we give it happy path, means everything is going smooth. You greet and people say yes. You ask that how are you, and it says I'm good, and you say great, carry on. So that was the happy path. And if again that if you ask how are you and people say I'm not good, I'm very sad, so that is kind of a sad path that we have given. We have created two sad paths. One is like mood unhappy, once we directly cheer it up, and if we say that did that help. If users say yes, then we say great, carry on. If users say no, then we say goodbye. So we see that scenario as well. So great, carry on. Again, I started like hello, and it say hey, how are you. I'm saying that I am very sad, I am extremely sad, let's say extremely sad. And then the response will come. It says great, carry on. If I say extremely sad, it says great, carry on. If I say I am feeling very bad, I have not written it properly. So that should be I am feeling sad, let's say. So it says great, carry on. So basically, because we have not given so many training data to understand it, so it got confused. So this is how you understand the basic flow of the conversation, that by default Rasa chatbot, when you initiate a projects come. So later it has given you the idea that how we're going to design the conversation. Later you can remove those flows and you can add your flows as per your requirement. So three main files are there. First is NLU, then the next is stories, a domain in which you define your intent and the responses, and the story in which you define like for which intent what should be the response, how you are designing the flow of the conversation. So that's it for today. In next class we are going to discuss about the configuration, endpoints, credentials, and the actions basically, and we create some changes to the board and we run it our own customized board. So I hope that's clear to everyone. See you in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.